Friday, folks. If you stand on your tiptoes, you can see the weekend premiere, 27th day of February, 2026. I'm Dan Kuntz. Wake up in Wenatchee Valley. We're underway. Pretty clear skies, 36 degrees. Another very mild day today, and a little on the windy side. We've been dealing with wind on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll do it again today. It'll be dying down over the weekend. Beautiful weekend coming up. It's starting to feel like spring. We hit 55 yesterday. Not a record high, but plenty warm for most folks. Omak almost set a record high. Omak got to 56 yesterday. There was just a couple, 2-3 degrees short of a record high for that date up in Omak. Moses Lake got to 54. Going to be warm again today, although a little on the breezy side. Slightly cooler this weekend. Nice weekend coming up. We're going to be dealing with sunshine all the way into, say, Monday afternoon as we say goodbye to February and welcome March come Sunday. Weather, yes. News, lots. Sports, lots. Kraken are still sleepwalking their way back from the Winter Olympic break. They seem to have forgotten how to play hockey. They didn't last night in St. Louis either. Not going to show you highlights of that. What's the point? They got creamed. But the Mariners won a game that didn't count. We'll have highlights of that. And of course, the first weekend of the state basketball championships begin today and into tomorrow. We'll tell you about all the local teams, who the Wild's going to play over the weekend. An opinion from Mike Mad Dog Bignotti. He doesn't like daylight saving any more than I do. Why we change the clocks twice a year, I don't know. I don't much care for it. Neither does Mike. We have that in common. And it's a problem that's becoming acute in the world of high school sports, the lack of officiating varsity and junior varsity contests. It's not just spring, it's fall and winter as well. There's not enough officials to go around. And it's an especially acute problem for fast pitch high school softball. A lot of teams play fast pitch high school softball. And Terry Aiton from the Wenatchee Valley Umpires Association is going to join me in the back half of the program. He's recruiting umpires. They need them badly. They badly need fast pitch softball umpires. Terry, my good friend, will tell you all about it in the back half of the program. It's tour time with our PTZ cameras. We're going to show you that one first. That's our Rock Island camera. They had a significant structure fire in the Rock Island, right in the middle of Rock Island, as a matter of fact. They toned it out just about 2 hours ago, maybe about an hour and 45 minutes ago. As you can see, the local fire department still have a presence there. There were a lot of fire trucks there. Don't know any details about it. All I can tell you is that it was a structure fire. It was flames and smoke, and it was whatever it was that was engulfed in flames was very much engulfed in flames. We'll have more on this so as we get more information, and certainly on the news tonight. But again, a significant structure fire in Rock Island, right in the middle of Rock Island earlier today. That is the cross camera. Sunrise this morning is 6:44. Already happened, of course. Sunset tonight, 5:43. 10 hours, 59 minutes of daylight. Tomorrow, for the last day of the month, we will go over the 11-hour mark. And the last time we had 11 hours of daylight in the Wenatchee Valley was October 12th. 138 days ago was the last time we had 11 hours or more daylight. That will change tomorrow. There is the Billy Goat camera with a few high clouds up Omak way. Omak here, the warm spot right now at 39 degrees. We're at 36 here in the big city of the Wenatchee Valley. And finally, Nanapoc Ridge checks in. A little bit of snow there, a few more high clouds. That's about it. Doesn't look like the lake is frozen over at all. Can't speak for Fish Lake, which is on the right-hand side of your screen. One of our favorite cameras, Nanapoc Ridge. That's pretty darn spectacular. One slide to show for you from the National Weather Service. This is your peak wind gusts for today. You can see by the arrows the direction of the wind. The pressure gradients are going to be a little on the tight side. This isn't sustained winds. This is peak wind gusts. As you can see, in some locations, pretty good dose here in the Wenatchee Valley. We can see gusts slightly above 20 miles an hour, which is pretty much what we had yesterday. Most of the time, the wind will be light and variable, but every once in a while, one of those rogue gusts will kick up. But we'll be done with the wind, by the way, for tomorrow. From Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, it's where comfort, care, and community come together. 58! Now, our record high on this date is 62, so we're not going to get there, but 58 degrees with a little bit of wind. So this has kind of caught everybody by surprise. At 55 yesterday, 58 today. 32 for the overnight low tonight. We're not going to be nearly as warm on Saturday. It'll be about half clouds and half sun. We'll get up to just around 49 or 50 for the afternoon high. No complaints at all for Sunday and Monday. How about sunshine to welcome March and a high of 51 up to 56 by the time we get to Monday. And then things will start to get a little on the unsettled side. Active weather will return overnight Monday night into Tuesday and into Wednesday with the return of some showers and maybe some wind as well. But enjoy the next 4 days. I like that. Going to take a quick 2-minute break. Come right back with your news. You're watching the Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Beautiful sunrise, 36 degrees, bountiful sunshine, a little breezy, 58. Our forecast high. We're not going to be that warm for the weekend, but sunshine is going to have the upper hand. It's going to feel a lot like spring as we bid adieu to February and welcome March. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Wenatchee's 16-year-old was struck and injured by another teen. This happened Tuesday in the parking lot of Winco Foods, and now that driver is facing hit and run charges. Our media partner, the Wenatchee World, reporting a group of teenagers was celebrating a birthday at Red Robin, and they gathered in the parking lot outside. An affidavit filed in Chelan County Juvenile Court yesterday says the victim held onto the hood of a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra while another 16-year-old boy drove, but eventually he fell off the car and was run over. Bystanders attempted to lift the vehicle off the victim, managed to pull him out from underneath. Police say the driver took off. He was later arrested and charged with felony hit and run and reckless driving. The youth remains free ahead of an arraignment hearing that's scheduled for March 10th. A federal judge in Oregon has reinstated parts of a 2023 agreement on salmon recovery that was canceled last year by the Trump administration. Northwest states and tribes struck a contract with the Biden administration to help preserve salmon that included new regulations on federal hydroelectric dams on the Columbia and Snake Rivers. When President Donald Trump pulled the United States out of that deal, it reactivated a dormant federal lawsuit over the health of salmon. Wednesday's ruling in that suit now requires federal dams to release more water and generate less hydropower in order to preserve salmon populations. The Public Power Council, which represents dam operators, says it's disappointed with the judge's decision, which it says will materially affect the region's clean hydropower system. A burn pile that reignited in windy conditions yesterday sparked a small structure fire on Graham Road in East Wenatchee. It damaged a shed and the exterior of a garage. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department responded at about 1:09 yesterday afternoon to a structure fire in the 2800 block of Grant Road. Fire Marshal for the department, Kurt Blanchard, says flames from the homeowner's burn pile jumped onto a pile of tires and then to the shed. then to an attached garage because of the windy conditions. There were chickens in the shed at the time of the fire, but they were not injured. Blanchard said the homeowners were at home when the fire reignited, but were unharmed. The shed and the garage sustained minor exterior damage. The U.S. Small Business Administration announced the availability of low-interest federal disaster loans on Thursday for Washington state businesses and residents affected by the severe winter storms back in December. The SBA said the loans were meant to offset physical and economic losses from the storms that lasted from December 5th through December 22nd. Businesses and nonprofits are eligible to borrow up to $2 million to repair or replace real estate, machinery, or other business assets. Homeowners and renters, you can borrow up to $100,000 to replace or repair clothing, furniture, cars, appliances, and the like. The deadline to apply for physical damage applications is April 27th. The deadline for economic injury applications, November 24th. The Chapaka Lake and Cold Spring campgrounds in Okanagan County are at risk of shutting down because of state budget cuts. The Washington Department of Natural Resources announcing tentative reductions to its recreation access across the state. They did that on Wednesday. Says due to an ongoing lack of funding for maintenance and staff. DNR says the operating budget for its recreation program was reduced by 20% moving into the 2025-2027 biennium. And Governor Bob Ferguson's proposed budget removes an additional $750,000 per year. The agency employs 60 field staff in Washington state and says its work to maintain recreation sites by clearing trails and cleaning restrooms has been underfunded for quite some time. The Chapaka Lake and Cold Spring campgrounds are located in the Loomis State Forest, are two of about 20 recreation sites that may be impacted if cuts are made. An elderly Grant County man who plotted from prison to have his ex-wife and daughter killed cannot be released on medical grounds despite documented health problems. That was the ruling yesterday from the Washington Court of Appeals in the case of Ralph Howard Blakey II, who's serving 35 years for solicitation for murder. Blakey is now 89 years old, and the State Department of Corrections has refused his requests for medical release 4 times in the last 2 years, saying he did not meet the requirements. Blakey appealed, but the court yesterday agreed with the Department of Corrections, and he remains held at the Washington State Penitentiary. Blakey was originally imprisoned for the 1998 kidnapping of his wife in Royal City. His case made headlines about 20 years ago when the United States Supreme Court overturned his 7-year sentence because it was longer than the standard range. As a result of that ruling, extraordinary sentences now require a special verdict from a jury. And last night at the local Events Center at the Pybus Public Market, the Wenatchee World handed out their 2026 Community Involvement Awards. Good crowd was on hand. Sheriff Mike Morrison was presented with the Local Hero Award for his efforts over the last year. That's East Wenatchee Mayor Jerry Lee Crawford. She received the Public Life and Service Award from the Wenatchee World. Mike Malman received the Progress Award. He's the Executive Hope Officer, the Chief Hope Officer of Sir Wenatchee Valley. Lisa Karstetter could not be there, but Nick Conan and Ann Hesberg of Microsoft took the Business Impact Award for her, and Nancy Gretty from Alethea Writing Center received the Community Connection Award. By the way, you can read all about it in this weekend's edition of the Wenatchee World at newsstands everywhere. And that is the news at 14 minutes after the hour. One more newscast for us before we get a weekend going, so stay informed before you go out and do whatever you're going to do on this beautiful weekend upcoming by watching the news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, the NCAA Life Evening News, 5, 6, and 10. If that doesn't work for you, don't forget we'll have it posted on our YouTube page right around 5 o'clock. We're on Peacock, we're on Hulu, we're on Netflix. I'm sorry, Malcolm, we're not on any of those? Is that my understanding? Okay. Well, we're out there anyway. Send us an email if you got a news tip, news@ncwlife.com. Going to take a break and come back with a whole bunch of sports because that's next. You're watching a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
You build more than projects. You build what communities rely on. When the job site runs on results, put Kubota to work. Backed by expert service and support from your local Kubota dealer. Right now, bring home select Kubota KX Series with 0% financing available or save up to $4,800.
"17 minutes after the hour, Dylan Holloway had a hat trick. Way to go. Unfortunately, Dylan Holloway plays for the St. Louis Blues, and the Kraken lost again 5-1 last night in St. Louis. They've kind of been sleepwalking since they got back from their 3-week break. Capo Caco tied it at 1 in Seattle in the first period, and that was about it. Philip Grubauer stopped 26 shots. The Kraken have now lost 3 of 4 after winning 4 in a row. Before the Olympics, Seattle plays their first home game since January 31st. It'll be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock against the Vancouver Canucks at Climate Pledge Arena. A lot of Mariners starters actually played yesterday. It was almost like a regular season lineup, and they played pretty good. A 12-hit barrage, and Seattle won a game that didn't count in Cactus League play. They beat the Guardians. The final was 8-7. Bryce Miller threw 1 1/3 scoreless innings. He gave up just 3 hits, didn't walk anybody. Also had a strikeout. Cal Raleigh looked in mid-season form, both with his bat and his arm.
I was kind of pushing for Dan Wilson. What Danny did in his first year, there was the runner, pitch on the way, strike, the throw to third, and it's in time to get Martinez. Cal Raleigh with a strike down to Brendan Donovan, right on the bag, and Cal Raleigh doing his thing behind the plate, fires a baby right to Donovan to throw out Martinez, trying to steal third. Next pitch. Julio with a swing and a ground ball over the bag at third, a fair ball down the left field line. Cal rounding third, being waved in. He will score. Julio will coast into second base with a stand-up RBI double. And the Mariners have a 1-0 lead right away here in the bottom of the first inning. Back-to-back doubles by Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez. This one right over the bag at third. Down the reach of Kiboom. Here's the pitch, swung on and a fly ball into deep center field. Martinez going back to the warning track, reaches out and eats off his glove. Julio takes off running third. He will score. The relay to the plate will be cut off. Julio scores easily. Randy Arozarena with a double. 3 consecutive doubles by the Mariners here in the bottom of the first. And the Mariners have an early 2-0 lead over the Guardians. Runners out of the corners, a run in, pitch to Cal, swinging a fly ball into the gap in the right center field. Over, Valera is there to make the catch. Tagging at third is Arroyo. He's going to score. The throw goes into second base. Cal Raleigh with a sacrifice fly to right center field. Another run in for the Mariners, who now lead the Guardians 4-0. And now time is called. Manager Stephen Vogt out to the mound, and that's going to be it for Cotillo.
Here comes the 0-1. Swung on. That is drilled left field towards the line. It is down. Bring it up. Chuck going to the wall. Donovan steaming around third. He's being waved. He's going to score. Cal Raleigh coasting at a second, a double. The Mariners get another run. And Mariners fans hoping that's a preview of things to come. Cal Raleigh scoring Donovan.
That shows you how strong Cal is. That pitch was away. He went down and got it and pulled it down the left field line, way down the line.
The 1-1. Swung on, cracked, center field. Martinez twists around. He's not going to get there. It's over his head. It's going to the wall. Arroyo's going to walk home. Emerson around second base. He loses his helmet. He's flying to third. The throw. He slides. He is safe. A triple for Colt Emerson. Driving home Arroyo. It's 6-2 to the delight of the Mariner fans in Peoria.
Yeah, certainly the bench was excited. He was excited. Acknowledgement there. But way to hustle out a triple on a tough fly ball to center.
Mariners play their first night game in spring training tonight. They'll be hosting the Diamondbacks at 5:10. By the way, Luis Castillo is scheduled to make his first start in Cactus League action. Women's college basketball scoreboard, Gonzaga is probably going to win the regular season title in the West Coast. They rolled over St. Mary's 75-67, but their season's not over yet. They could still actually finish second. Been a tough year for Wazoo, but they knocked off Seattle at home last night, 69-55. Women's college basketball schedule now for Gonzaga and Washington State. The final game of the regular season is actually tomorrow. Then that's it. Gonzaga, they're going to make the postseason tournament. That's a lead pipe cinch. They wrap up their regular season in Portland tomorrow at 5 o'clock on ESPNU. The Cougars most certainly will not, but they will host St. Mary's in their regular season finale tomorrow at noon on ESPN+. Plus, for the Huskies and the Ducks, they will play Sunday at 2 in Eugene on the Big 10 Plus network. And the men's college basketball schedule, no games yesterday, just what's going on. On Saturday, Gonzaga will travel down to St. Mary's, number 9 Gonzaga. That's Saturday night at 7:30 on ESPN Plus. Earlier in the day, Washington will host Wisconsin. That'll be Saturday on FX1. And on Saturday night at 5 o'clock, Wazoo at Pepperdine in men's college basketball. High school, here we go. There are still some teams alive for a state trophy. Who plays whom and when? We'll start out with the girls' state 2B tournament. Today, it's Okanagan taking on Colfax. That'll be at West Valley High School in Spokane. They tip it off at 6 o'clock. The other two games involving local teams in the bracket are tomorrow. Tudor Lake will take on Brewster in Omak. That's tomorrow at noon. And at Wenatchee High School's gymnasium at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, Oakcrest Island and Lake Roosevelt. In the girls' state 1B tournament, all these games are tomorrow. Cross Point Christian will take on Waterville Mansfield at Wenatchee High School's gym at noon. At 4 o'clock, again at Wenatchee High School, at Mount Cooley Heartline will take on Muckleshoot Tribal. And then at 6 o'clock at West Valley High School in Spokane, Pateros will take on Garfield Palouse. Only one local 1A team is still alive. The Kashmir, Chelan Goats are alive. They'll take on Linden Christian in Linden tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And in the boys' state 1B tournament, Nia Bay will take on a Mount Cooley Heartline. That's at Wenatchee High School's gymnasium tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In the state boys' 2B tournament, it's Reardon and Okanagan. That game will be in Omak tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And then tonight at West Valley High School in Spokane, Liberty Bell will take on Colfax. Go local teams and go wild. 3 games in 3 days. They are going to be in Kelowna tonight to take on the Rockets at 7:05 tomorrow. It's Hockey Fights Cancer. Big crowd expected with Kelowna in town tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And then the league-leading Everett Silvertips wrap up the weekend with a 4 o'clock matinee on Sunday. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy Independence Day in the Dominican Republic. It's National Pokemon Day. You can celebrate National Retro Day if you so desire. If you want to commemorate National Strawberry Day, go for it. National Kahlua Day, National No-Brainer Day. I oftentimes forget to bring my brain to the office, but today is International Polar Bear Day today, and not surprisingly, look at the little mama, nobody. Polar bear cub, so cute. The polar bear's natural habitat is melting, quite frankly. Polar bears' bodies are built for the cold. They have a layer of fat that can go almost 5 inches thick. That'll keep you warm. Polar bear's fur isn't white. It's actually translucent. It just looks white because it reflects all the visible light. And underneath the skin, the fur is black. That helps hold on to the warmth of the sunlight. Polar bears, we associate polar bears with hunting. They only hunt and kill their prey only about 2% of the time. Polar bears will eat almost anything they can get a hold of, but most of the time they eat carcasses that were killed or washed up on shore. They'll eat small animals, they'll eat plants, they'll eat fish, vegetate. They'll eat almost anything they get a hold of, but they don't actually hunt and kill a great deal of the time. A huge disparity between the weight of males and females. Male polar bears can go upwards of 1,700 pounds. Female polar bears weigh about half that. Female polar bears who are pregnant hibernate. Female polar bears who are not pregnant do not hibernate. And male polar bears don't hibernate at all, but male polar bears sleep about 20 hours a day. I'm jealous of them. Celebrate the polar bear today. 25 minutes after the hour, today in history, Abraham Lincoln said it was the most important speech he ever gave in his life, and it was the speech at Cooper Union in New York City on February 27th, 1860. He was a candidate he already had a kind of a national name. He was a candidate for the presidency, and despite, when we think of Lincoln's great speeches, Gettysburg, his second inaugural, many of his other most famous speeches, Abraham Lincoln himself said the speech he gave at Cooper Union in New York on this date in 1860 catapulted him to the presidency because they reprinted his speech in its entirety in almost every major newspaper in the country and made Lincoln a national name. And he said that was the speech that put me on the map. And 75 years ago today, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution is ratified. The 22nd Amendment, of course, prohibits anybody who had been elected president twice from being elected president again. It also says that somebody who fills an unexpired presidential term that lasts more than 2 years is also prohibited from being elected president more than once. And it says that a person who was not eligible to serve as the president cannot serve as the vice president. The 22nd Amendment is 75 years old today. Birthdays. One of my favorite Supreme Court justices of all time is a fascinating figure, Hugo Black. I've read a number of biographies on Hugo Black. Just a fascinating man. He was so smart that he went to law school and medical school at the same time. He was the 68th Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, served for a very, very long time. He believed in the incorporation of the 14th Amendment, that the Bill of Rights affects everybody because the 14th Amendment declares that, and he was an absolutist on the First Amendment. He loved to point out that the First Amendment says specifically no law. It's the only amendment that says no law abridging the freedom of speech. Means you can't make a law abridging the freedom of speech. He knew the difference between speech and conduct, but as far as a free speech absolutist, he led the parade. There are none of those on the Supreme Court anymore. The Supreme Court now will say we can put some limits on speech in the First Amendment. Hugo Black did not believe that. The man who created Sarnoff's Law, well, he founded NBC and RCA. That ain't bad, made a lot of money. Talking about David Sarnoff. Sarnoff's Law in this line of work is quite simple. The value of a network or a station, be it television or radio, the value of a broadcast network or television station is directly proportional to how many people watch it. Makes sense to me. And John Steinbeck, one of my favorite, I've read everything John Steinbeck ever did. He wrote a couple of books that really weren't that great, but I mean, come on. The greatest American book ever was written by John Steinbeck, I think, the great American novel, The Grapes of Wrath. Still, I got to read some Steinbeck. I haven't read some Steinbeck in a couple of years. I will make that. I'll fix that over the weekend. He was born in the state in 1902. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. They got a new logo, but their service remains the same. Any issues with your HVAC system, or maybe you need a brand new one? Your first and only call should be to Alpine Air. Going to take a break. Mike McNally's got an opinion on daylight saving. He doesn't like it any more than I do. And then there is an acute, it's almost a crisis. They have girls fast pitch softball. It starts on Monday. What they don't have is umpires. They badly need umpires for high school girls fast pitch softball. Terry Aiton is going to pitch what he does to you folks. Hopefully it'll work. That's coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Since 18-year-olds got the vote in about 1971, I have only voted for a Democrat in a major election twice. The first time for McGovern in 1972. You know, hippie days, Vietnam, all that stuff. You know how it was. However, when one of our U.S. senators, Patty Murray, said she would try to end the asinine twice-a-year time change, I wrote to her and said, Patty, if you can get this done, I will vote for you. Once. Now, evidently, she reintroduced the Sunshine Protection Act bill to eliminate the idiocy of twice-a-year time changes in January of this year is when she introduced it. Now, so you go, Patty. You get this done, and I will keep my word, and I will vote for you. Once. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Welcome back to the program. We are transitioning from high school winter sports. Say goodbye to girls and boys basketball, wrestling, swimming, and all that other stuff. And we transition to spring sports. And spring sports is a busy time of the year. There's boys soccer, there's track and field, there's golf, there's baseball. And in this neck of the woods, one of the more popular sports is girls fast pitch high school softball. Got a couple of good programs, a number of good programs around North Central Washington that will compete for a chance to go deep into the playoffs. We hope this year we'll be covering all of those things. None of these games can happen without umpires, and unlike previous years, which has always been a bit of a concern, how many warm bodies can we get to get umpires to come in and officiate these games? This upcoming spring 2026 season for girls high school fast pitch softball, the situation has gone from pretty serious to downright critical. They're almost out of warm bodies. Terry Aiton is an old friend of mine, and he officiated for a gazillion years until your right knee decided that you wanted a divorce from the rest of your leg.
Both of my knees have gone.
But you are the scheduler for the local officials association for girls fast pitch high school softball in our area, and you crunched the numbers and you looked at your warm bodies, those coming back, and you realized we had a problem here, Terry. How critical is this issue for lack of umpires?
We are desperate for umpires. I mean, that's how serious we are. We don't have enough people to cover in the major part, basically the end of March through the rest of the season, because there's going to be games pretty much every day. We just don't have enough officials. We've had guys move out. We've had guys get injured like me. We've had guys just retire. And I'm just asking people to come out and help us. The girls deserve it because we do have a quality array of girls that play the high school sports.
They're very good because there's also a strong club presence as well.
There is.
That feeds into the high school programs, especially in fast pitch.
Oh, fast pitch, and then we do the tournaments. We do slow pitch softball, and I've seen girls go from high school to the slow pitch leagues, and it's like, what are you doing here? Did you graduate? You know, and it's like the girls are hungry, but they're a little bit timid about being an umpire because they see what I have to go through.
See, that's the first thing I was going to ask you, Terry, because we associate umpires with guys. It doesn't matter what your sex is. If you're qualified, you can do girls fast pitch umpiring. Why can't you get the 25 or 26-year-old former fast pitch players from Wenatchee or Eastmont or any place local or Wenatchee Valley College to get into the umpiring thing? They're still playing at the club level? Because that would seem a perfect feeder program for you guys.
A lot of the high school girls leave this valley. And so I said, if you ever come back and get a hold of me. We'll get you helping. They go through college. I mean, I've talked to 2 seniors last year, and they said, no way. There's no way I'll do what you do. I do not want to get yelled at. And I said, you're one of the biggest yellers at me. I mean, I basically threw it right back at her. She was a really nice lady, but she's out of town going to college. A lot of these girls do not come back to the valley for a while, and then they forget about it. Mm-hmm. They even forget about the rec league part. But that's my excuses. It's not for me. I don't have that mentality. And I'm looking right at them and going, have you ever seen yourself on camera at a softball game? You're one of the most vicious girls out there. You're not cheating, but you play hard. That's what we need. People that will stand up to some of the coaches can be a pain in the butt. It's an issue. It's a problem. The athletic directors have gone out of their way to address it.
and they will address it if things get to that point, because they want you. I mean, they want you guys. They don't want bad parents and bad coaches to drive umpires out of the business.
Let me tell you this really quickly. When I first started back up in the valley here, was a shock, because you didn't hear coaches really gripe at you. They were going out of their way. Most of the time, these coaches will, if they'll go, okay, it's a different angle, blah, blah, blah. But most times, they're not stressing over, call. There are times where I've had to kick a high school coach out, assistant coach, but because he dropped the F-bomb. And that's an automatic, see you later,
Absolutely.
goodbye.
As well it should be.
Yeah, but there's people, the fans are not the problem. And the coaches are not the problem. And when you're on the field, if you can block it out, I don't hear most people unless they say the magic words. And I've had people say the magic word and I said, okay, you're gone, I'm sorry about it. And I've noticed myself over the years I've done it, I'm like, did you just really say that to me? I'll question them before I throw them out. And they say, yeah, okay, gone, bye, see you later. But that's just how long I've been in the game. Back 20 years ago, it's different. Now it's a different ball game, different mentality, different philosophy altogether. You got to watch your P's and Q's now. You've got to know the game, because if you're in the wrong position and you don't know the game, you're going to miss a major call. I've had Lawyer Malau for the Patriots, and they play for the Seahawks.
Yeah, Lawyer Malloy.
Yeah, I had his daughter at the state tournament. I had a bang play, and he went ballistic. And I went, knock it off, coach. And his coach came out, because he was assistant. He comes out, and we talked. I said, yeah, this is what I got. Can you get, and I said, yeah, I'll get opinion. They said, Terry, you were right on the call. This is great. And we moved on. But that's how you have to handle things. And I consider umpiring a part of life, because you do have to go through situations in real life that will help you deal with negative situations. Now, was he a hero of mine in the football world? Yeah. But at the time, I could care less who you are.
Well, we're trying to encourage people to consider the idea of officiating girls fast pitch high school softball and other softball leagues as they get into the summertime as well. Let's sell the idea of this might be something that people may be interested in doing.
If you notice every coach in the Valley, and I don't know if you've seen every coach, but I've talked to every coach, and they are really nice guys. Yeah, they get intense, and that's what they get paid for. But for the most part, most of my referees never have a problem with a coach. Never have a problem maybe with their hustle. Maybe the rules interpretation, and that's why you have to be in the book. And everybody goes, I got to read this book. Well, you don't read the whole book in one day, because you're not going to remember what chapter 1 says. I tell people, take it one step at a time. And yeah, you may be thrown in, but you're not going to be thrown into like the Kashmir Royal game this year or the Wenatchee Eastmont game. But you may have a Manson varsity game, which we consider a little bit lower level, but they're still a varsity game. You still get paid well for them.
And the girls want to play, and they want to have fun, and they want to play within the rules that are applied.
Most of these girls are just giddy about it. I mean, they get, you see the guys play, and you see the girls play, and you see the girls after a loss or a win. Yeah, they're excited for the next fight. Then the coach will either say, come on, we got to get ready for the next game, or have a good day. And nothing, and I can tell you 5 minutes later, they forget about the whole game. There's people that know me from, and their parents play softball, and so they, hey, I remember when you did this and that. I'm like, okay. And I know I'm going to get it, because people know me now.
You are the scheduler. You can no longer, your earthly vessel is rebelling against you. That means you can no longer put on the mask and put on the vest and get behind the plate. You've been the scheduler for your association for quite some time. You've seen this train coming down the tracks for a while, but the fact that you had to reach out for me tells me that the shortage of qualified umpires is at the point where we're talking about it.
Yeah, football, they have a little bit more advantage because they get more attention. Girls softball is a prime sport for girls besides volleyball, that's going to be their next step to go. And I know a lot of volleyball players that come down and play varsity softball. The thing is, we just don't have the guys because, like I said, it's spring. Everybody wants to get out. Everybody wants to do either go camping. I've got this to do. I got kids projects. I got this. And we understand family. And I can work around anything as long as I have the numbers. Because most times I only have 3 games. You know, if I have 3 doubleheaders, I have to have 2 per game. Yeah. So that's 6 guys. And I'm never going to put you with an individual. I'll put you with a veteran official. And I may show up just to watch too, to help you along. Because I know sometimes I've had a couple of new officials, they get nervous. And they go, I can't do this anymore. I go, why? He goes, I'm being yelled at. I said, it's part of the game. Get used to it. And that's one thing you have to get used to.
At what point, Terry, are you going to, are we at the point where you're going to have to call, hello, Mrs. Kuntz, hello, Mr. Waterman, this is Terry. We don't have any bodies. If you have a game scheduled, you have a doubleheader coming up, and I don't have anybody to officiate. Are we at that point?
We're at that point. I've already reached out to all my ADs and told them our problem. I have asked them to move games, or can we move it to this date because I'll have the officials on this date, but I can't have all officials. Can you do that? Or I'll call another association to see if they can take the game.
That was my next question, because this is Chelan County. There is Grant County has an officials association. You go down to the Tri-Cities, you go down to Yakima, they have their own association.
One up north too.
There's one up north, up in the Omak, Okanagan area. Are you guys going to be able to maybe pipe into the other pipelines just to get these games in?
It depends on the scheduling. I do a lot from the Okanagan Association, and they're short too, because they only do high school fast pitch, but they also do baseball. Yeah. So they're doing 2 sports at one time, which I used to do, and I understand the complications. But they're reaching out to me. Can you send me? Because I went up to Brewster last year to help them out. So it's just everybody's short at this time of year. Yeah, everybody wants to do the rec league because it's on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But you can, and I'll be honest, you can make some decent money doing a doubleheader.
Well, let's talk about the benefits of doing it. First of all, you get to stay in shape. And you get to interact with the younger generation, which is always good.
Right.
You get paid. So give me some of put a little sugar on the ice cream. Some of the benefits of becoming a fast pitch softball umpire.
I've just had people come up to me, and unless you have a number on your back, I'm not going to remember who you are. And they'll go, hey, you're the umpire that did this, this, and this. And I'm like, and it gets, they want to embarrass me, and it does. But they make them laugh. They remember the weird things. They don't remember, hey, you made a good game. They want you to be friendly. Even on the field, I'm talking to the girls when they're not playing. You know, if they're warming up, we'll talk. That was a great hit, great hit. I'm always encouraging, telling everything. But sometimes we do have to be the dad and say, hey, next time I'm going to have to kick you out of the game because you dropped the word that throws everybody out. But the fun part is you'll make memories. I can tell you back. I can tell you when I first met you. I saw you down the hallway at Wenatchee High School. This
was nearly 20 years ago. Anyway, go ahead.
We hope.
You were saying?
But we've always, you look for something fun. Sure. And if you don't make the game fun, you're not going to have fun. I know referees that are just mad at the world. And they're not good officials. They may know the thing, but they're not present. I'll get complaints about umpires. Hey, he wasn't friendly. That's one thing about women's sport. You do have to be a little bit friendly and a little bit talkative to the girls. I can tell you about a kid from Kashmir, played defense. The next year was the COVID year, and all season long he told me this flat out. He goes, I was looking for you. I did the old Kashmir Chelan game, biggest game in that division at the time. And he goes, oh, you're finally here. And I got to know him and his mom and his dad and everything. But he looked forward to that. And then he told me that his next steps were college. So I get to find out about the kids' goals, dreams.
And you get to see some pretty good softball, too. Even though you're working,
Oh, yeah.
You appreciate talent when you see it, be it pitchers or hitters.
Oh, I've seen pitchers that could make a ball dance, and you're like, I can never hit that. But that's another thing is you got to have good focus, because that ball dances, and if it's dancing like this and it comes in at the strike zone, you got to have it. And consistency, we got to be consistent. And if people if they just believe in themselves as an umpire, that's the biggest.
Well, we're running a little short time. Let me do a couple of questions that I think are pertinent to this. If we planted the seed out there to the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are watching this very conversation right now, is there a couple of YouTube sites they could go to just to say, okay, what is this all about? I mean, what are the rules? You might as well do before you give Terry a call or send him an email, you can do some homework, right?
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
Go to YouTube. YouTube has a lot of NHSF.
National Federation of High Schools.
They have a lot of good training, but they also have plays that, okay, what would you call?
Scenarios, things like that. Yeah.
And I'm always looking at those because you may not see it for 3 or 4 years, but you got to be prepared for that call. I know this year obstruction and interference is a big issue in high school sports because we do have girls that get in the way, or how would you call it? So you got to learn different acts. I go onto YouTube. That's the best place I found. And they'll break it down for you. Okay, this player was here, this catcher was here, did she have the ball, was she blocking the play? And it breaks down the play step by step. And that's a great learning tool. When I was a kid, when we were kids, we didn't have that. It was black and white from a rule book, and then your acknowledgement. And
it's not a huge time commitment.
No.
You do get paid. But you still have to buy. Do you have to buy your own uniform?
You do have to buy your uniform and the pads,
Right.
But I know an umpire right now he's ready to give his stuff away.
You do some studying. You take a couple of tests. You get certified. As Terry mentioned already, you're not going to immediately go out and do a Moses Lake Eastmont varsity game. They're going to start you out with the baby steps, smaller schools, junior varsity, and things like that. And this is critical. Before we run out of time, we've been talking a lot about varsity fast pitch softball. The bigger schools in our area, Wenatchee and Eastmont specifically, but some of the others, they have junior varsity and C teams, and they also play too, and they also need umpires.
They do, and even the junior highs, we do junior highs. That's a little bit different, but the junior highers are starting to learn the game, and so they may see you out there and may want to develop into becoming an umpire too, because they'll see it and go, you're making good money. Well, I wouldn't say major league level, but we do get paid decently. But I've done it, I'm going to get paid, but I don't think about that as being a benefit. It's a part of the game. I'm still part of the game. I played it when I was a kid, and I get to still be part of it, and I get to make these girls have some fun and enjoy their sport that they get to love.
Where do we go from here? They get a hold of you, Terry? What happens?
Get a hold of me. My email is thawks22@icloud.com. And that's THAWKS22. And there's a really funny story. I was in Pittsburgh when the Seahawks played the Steelers that time, and I wanted to irritate all the Steeler fans out there, so I made them do T-Hawks. But if you get a hold of me, my phone right now is a little funky, so I can't. But if you get a hold of me through the email, I will get a hold of you right away.
Or any of the athletic directors, be it BJ at Wenatchee, Russ at Eastmont, Jeff at Cashmere. They'll get you on the right thing as well.
That, or if you go through the state, the WOA, they'll send me an email saying, hey, this person reached out to us. And I've had a couple of them. So yeah, that's the best way. And we're a good we have fun. As you know, you're going to be teamed up with one person, and you're going to probably have a new person every day, but you're going to have fun learning and enjoying the game that you probably enjoyed. It may not be baseball, but it's softball. It's a little bit faster too. So
it's good to see you, my friend. Hopefully this works. And I'm sorry you can't physically do the job anymore, but the fact that this is a perfect example of the passion of umpires and officials. He can't physically do it anymore, but you're still involved with it every day because you love it so much. And I know about every official in any sport in the North Central Washington area, and they're all good people. Male, female, doesn't matter the sport. They're good people, and they're doing it for the right thing. I think half of these guys would do it, or gals would do it for free, just because they just enjoy it so much. You get paid. Just a heads up on that. Terry, thanks again. If you need more help, you know where to find me, bud.
I will.
All right.
Definitely appreciate it.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see
You're
you.
watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. No, I can't sing any of that, or we'd have to pay royalties to Rodgers and Hammerstein. But, you know, the farmer and the cowman really should be friends. It's 36 degrees, quite a bit of sunshine. Once again, windy today, and once again, unseasonably warm. We hit mid-50s on Wednesday. We got to 55 yesterday. Omak almost set a record yesterday. It was mid-50s in Moses Lake. This is not what we were anticipating, this unseasonably warm weather. We're going to do it again today. We're going to be up close to 60 for the afternoon high. We're not going to set a record, by the way. The record on the state is 62. We're not going to get there, but it's still going to be warm. And a little on the breezy side. This is not sustained winds. This is your peak wind gusts, as you can see. The winds will be gusting from the west and the southwest. You can see by the direction of the arrows. And the little number associated with wherever you happen to be today is where your peak wind gusts will be as the day progresses. And most of the peak wind gusts are going to be in the early to mid-afternoon hours, at least for the Wenatchee Valley, early to mid-afternoon hours. By sunset tonight, right around 5:45 or so, should be done with the wind. But it is going to be very warm. And I wanted to mention this while you look at the forecast. Today, we have 10 hours and 59 minutes of daylight. Tomorrow, we will go over the 11-hour mark for daylight, and the last time we had at least 11 hours of daylight or more was 138 days ago, back on October 12th of last year. So that is cool too. We pass a milestone tomorrow. In fact, 11 hours and 2 minutes of daylight tomorrow, an additional 3 minutes and 21 seconds longer than today. From the National Weather Service, that way if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government, but nothing not to like here. A lot of sunshine today, again, a little on the breezy side. Sustained winds right around 10 miles an hour, but as we mentioned already, and you already saw, we could see wind gusts as high as 21, 22 miles an hour in some locations, and it won't last very long. Partly cloudy tonight, 32 for the overnight low. A few more clouds tomorrow. We'll still call it partly sunny, but it's also going to keep us a little cooler, less radiant heat. So we're only going to get up to about 49, they tell us, on Saturday. Big, you know, I mean, the normal high is 46, so still quite mild. 33 for the overnight low on Saturday night with clouds. Saturday night's going to be cloudy, but then by Sunday morning, the clouds will be gone. Johnson, Sunday looks beautiful. Lots of sunshine, no wind, and a high of 51 degrees. We go to 56 on Monday. That'll be the last day of all this bountiful sunshine, because by the time we get to Monday night and Tuesday, right on into Wednesday, active weather returns. It'll be a little breezy, a little cloudy, maybe a chance of rain, especially on Wednesday. I guess we'll see you come March. Have a great weekend. Till then, bye-bye.